Hey, it's Brian Mudd. This is my cheat sheet for Monday, January 7th. Word has gotten out about the U.S. housing recovery, so much so that we're seeing the best numbers internationally since 2001. And if you think for a moment about where we were in real estate in 2001, well, this could be a really, really good sign moving forward. Get this, 80% of the most desirable properties, or most desirable locales for international buyers right here in the United States. New York is the single most desirable city in the world. Here's one that was a bit of a surprise on the list. Houston checked in as the fourth most desirable city to buy in the world right now. Houston, look at that. Tells you something about that Texas economy that's been working there. So you take a look at all the different eyeballs. We are used to international buyers in Florida, but countries around the world looking to locales within the U.S. And it's one more reason why you might have a really good chance of being able to get a better price than you even thought. Because we're desirable, number one, we already have a large group of international buyers, number two, and you've got the world looking towards the U.S. as well. So there are a lot of things going for you right now if you are looking to sell your home, certainly versus where we were even at the start of this recovery about a year ago, and definitely over where we've been even over the last decade. Again, the best numbers we're seeing internationally since 2001. Really good sign. All right, today's question from a listener. This was an important one. Last week, one of the questions that I ended up fielding and using on the cheat sheet on air and online was one pertaining to a 13-year-old who had earned his first $1,000 and wanted to know how to get started investing with that $1,000. Well, today's question is involving a 20-something who recently graduated from college, has $4,000, and will begin having to pay student loan obligations next month. The question was the advice the same for this 20-something as the 13-year-old with $1,000? That's a very important question, and the answer is absolutely not. See, one of the big differences with the 13-year-old with $1,000, no debt, no monthly obligations. It's all gravy. You earn money, you can invest it, and just try to put yourself in a good position. When you're 20-something, having just recently graduated from college, and having student loan debt that you're going to have to begin paying on next month, well, it's the real world now. And that means that we need to be a little bit more strategic about the way we have money. Now, she does have an income, and she is able to save a little bit of money on an ongoing basis. So we're going to talk about two things. One, how to set up for success, and two, what to do with the extra money that comes in. So the first thing is, for this 20-something with $4,000, the first thing you want to do before anything else, get 3 months worth of money behind you. 3 months worth of money behind you. You'll have some financial people that'll tell you 6 months or more. Yes, but. And the big but these days, if you have money that's just hanging out in a savings account or something and waiting for a rainy day, you're losing money on it. Interest rates are nil. And I am not into having you put away 6 months worth of money, which is going to be thousands upon thousands of dollars, just sitting there losing money every month. Because even if you earn that piddly little amount of interest, inflation will mean that you're losing money every single month. So I'm not into that. 3 months should be a good enough safety net, especially for someone who doesn't have tons of obligations just getting out of college. So get that amount behind you. If the $4,000 covers it, or if you need to save a little bit more, do that first. Next piece, you have student loan debt at a minimum. When you have extra money that you're saving every month, I want you to do two things. One, I want you to take half that money, that your extra money you have, pay it towards your debt. Whatever the highest interest debt is. If it's the student loan debt, then so be it. If it's an auto loan, do that. But find your highest loan, highest interest loan, and pay half of your extra money every month towards that. Then you're going to take the other half, and you're going to be investing it. So hopefully that helps set the stage. I'll have that all run down on my physical cheat sheet if you'd like to review. But the important takeaway for all of us is that, yes, there are very different scenarios that need to play out based upon the age of somebody, where they are in life, what their obligations are, and if they have debt. Okay, let's take a look at self-driving cars. Google was the first one to really get on board with this in a big way. It talked over the past few years about Google taking a Prius, putting their technology in it, and actually driving a blind man around for 2 years, and it worked flawlessly, no issues. Well, now that it's commercially ready, we're going to get the first real preview in a big way. These should be cars that will be made readily available if insurance companies are willing to back them, and if you're interested in buying one. We're going to have them rolled out this week, not at a car show, but at the Consumer Electronics Show that begins tomorrow. You ready? Self-driving vehicles from Audi and Toyota are going to be released this week. So we're going to have the first real thing in front of us, and the revolution of new technology is here. And remember, one of the things I mentioned about self-driving vehicles, in the beginning, you're likely to have insurance companies that are reluctant to want to back them. But once they do, and they figure out that they're more reliable behind the wheel than we are, you're probably going to be incentivized by your insurance company some years down the road to actually drive self-driving vehicles rather than to be driving yourself. Because once we perfect the technology, they'll probably be far safer than we are behind the wheel. And lastly, I want to leave you with this one. Income growth versus inflation for 2013. So just how much more is stuff expected to cost this year, and just how much more are you expected to make? Right now, it looks like the average person in this country will earn about 2% more money this year. So you should get about 2% more. However, here's the problem with that. What just happened to you January 1st? Social Security tax increase of how much? 2%. You got it. So that will effectively wipe out the income growth that you're expected to receive this year. So when you adjust for the taxes that we're going to pay, income growth should essentially be completely flat this year for you. And the average inflation rate this year is expected to run about 2.4%. That means that on average, you're going to have about 2.5% less to go on an ongoing basis throughout the course of 2013 if everything works to plan. Which means that if you already were tight with the budget, you got to be strategic now, because, well, it's better now than wait until you're in a tough way, right? All right, that's the cheat sheet for today. Enjoy yours, and we'll see you tomorrow.